So with all of the plants that I plant in my garden, I just do a mixture of whatever manure or compost I have on hand at the time. In this case, I still had some sheep manure, so I used that and it was pretty well composted. You want to make sure that it's well composted. You don't want to be putting it in if it's too warm. So I just do a little bit of a layer. So I do some natural sand, some manure or compost, and I also have some citrus and fruit organic fertilizer, and I sprinkle a little bit of that in as well. So I just do layering, mix it all in together so that the roots can sort of have like a nice little lot of food there, and once they start to spread out, they're still used to the natural sand because I've layered that in. And as you can see here, I caught my little Jack Russell trying to get some strawberries that weren't even red yet. So today we went and Went to Guildford Garden Centre and got some bare root stock. And then to St. Clement's, I think it's called, in High Wycombe, and got some citrus to replace some of the ones I wasn't happy with. So here, this little stick is persimmons Duro. So we've actually moved the pepino from here up the back and put that one in. And then we got rid of the Tangelo that wasn't looking well and have replaced it with the same one, another Tangelo. We also tried this kumquat. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a really good one. Like you like obviously eat it, but when you eat it, skin and all, it tastes like an orange. So I was like happy about that. So I brought one of these, which wasn't on the plan. So I had a yellow guava here, and that's been moved down near the Nashi pears. So yeah, that's a pretty cool one. They're only $35, so pretty cool. And then Navel Washington I've replaced with another Navel Washington. So yes, small, but I've done it now. I found the stock at St. Clement's, if that's how you say it, is pretty hardy. So that's where I got my Buddha's Hand Citron. So I'm hoping, because they're a lot more hardy, that they'll do fine. Then I got... Yeah, my memory was pretty bad this day. 2 Magnus. One's a Summer Surprise. Okay, so this one here is Monty's Surprise. This one I think is called a Summer Surprise. Now this one is a red fleshed apple. And this one I think is not a red fleshed one, but it's apparently a lot of flavour and high in antioxidants. So I grabbed that too. Now, they're very similar pollinators. I don't think my Chrisman Chris and Pixie, I don't think either of them are a pollinator. So I do have these, hoping they'll pollinate each other because they pretty much had the same pollinators. However, I do want to get a Granny Smith at some stage, which is a pollinator for both. So what I'm going to do for now is try seeing how they go without the Granny Smith. But if I need to, I'll grab the Granny Smith as well, which I probably will do anyway. And I might just plant that a Granny Smith, like say, maybe just here. And they're getting pretty close together, but I really wanted to get both of these, especially the red fleshed one. So they're my new additions. I'll probably need a second job. I've replaced the citrus that I needed to replace, and I've got my apples that I wanted, and my husband got his persimmons that he wanted. And it was a pretty full-on day, and while I'm here I might as well show you my Temu fail, which I was very proud to say I've never had before. I brought this drop-over greenhouse to go over the pineapple. However, it didn't come with any frames. So what I did was just whack some stakes in to shove this over, which worked fine. My husband wanted to pad these stakes, and I'm like, no, it would be fine, but it has started to wear a hole in all the corners. But I did order another drop-over one, and the plan was to put the smaller drop-over one on the inside and keep this over. But I might run some duct tape over just these little holes and still put the other one on the inside and see if I can get some heat in there. The pineapple itself isn't looking overly great. The new shoots don't look too bad. I don't know if that's... You got some browning, but that was happening before, and it's obviously still getting fairly cold in here. I think yesterday we had a really cold day. It was the coldest day in 15 years yesterday. And although it was about 7 degrees-ish here, I think it got down to 2 actually in our area. But in some areas of Perth, it was in the minuses. Jandakot was 0.7, or actually I think it even got to 1 minus 1.1 in Jandakot. So we actually had ice all over the ground and everything and on the cars. So it's still obviously getting quite cold in there in the mornings, but at least when there is some sun, it's heating up. I'm going to keep an eye on the browning of the leaves because I know it was doing that before, but it is a little worse and it could be the humidity. I did open it up today a little bit, but obviously when I'm at work I can't just open and shut it, so I will keep an eye on the leaves if it gets too humid in there for it. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. I'm hoping I can get that through winter. Some more plants, more apples, more citrus, and the persimmons is new additions. And hopefully they all take off. What I probably would have done if I planned the food forest a little better, and because I extended down towards the house a lot more than I was going to, because originally just like where the end of the shade cloth is where I was going to end the food forest, but obviously gone further down. I probably would have put all my deciduous in front, so when they lose their leaves I can still look through to the food forest, which I still can do because I've got all deciduous down there, but I've got these deciduous here. I probably could have put other things in here. The only other thing with my citrus is obviously you can see that it's shaded along this wall, and during winter it's almost all shade, and I think they have to get, well, my variegated lemon is, short, but when it gets to about here it'll start to get sunlight in winter, but in summer it does get more sun. Now I just got to get them up to the height so they can get some more sun in winter, because I think that could be an issue in itself, because they're not getting any sunlight at the moment because they're short. And I knew that sort of when I planted it, but I didn't want to waste too much room against the fence, so hoping I can get these up to a higher height so that they start to, get some of the sun. So we're slowly getting into some warmer weather, even though yesterday was the coldest day in 15 years in Perth, but we will get there. The other citrus are doing okay but they're out in the sun a bit more. That was my day of me spending probably my week's wages. No, not quite, but yeah, it was a fair bit of money to buy these things, but I wanted to seeing I was going to Guildford, I thought I'd go to High Wycombe while I'm up there, get these citrus out the way. And at the moment, that's about all I want. I want to get a couple of more mangoes and maybe one other avocado, which I'm going to put in here. I do need to order them through dailies and then get a secondary person to take that through the quarantine for me and then post it to me. So it's a little bit of a process, so that won't be for a bit. But that's the plan. Yes. Okay. Anyway. And I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you in the next one.